All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're tackling the essential first chapter of modern defense, cyber threat intelligence. In the digital world, nothing is ever truly silent. Every single click you or I make, well, it tells a story. And every tiny piece of data that zips across a network, every single packet, it leaves a footprint. It's like a tiny clue left behind in this massive digital wilderness. But here's the most important part. Every single attack, whether it's a small intrusion or a massive headline-grabbing breach, it almost always whispers before it screams. The real trick is learning how to listen for that whisper. And that's really what this is all about. It's not about just building higher digital walls. It's about developing sharper senses. This is what we mean by security that's powered by knowledge. Okay, so let's dive right in. This term gets thrown around all the time. But what is cyber threat intelligence, or CTI, really? So at its core, CTI is all about turning raw, messy data into evidence-based knowledge. It's not just another random alert flashing on a screen. No, this is information that's been carefully gathered, processed, and analyzed to give defenders a real advantage, whether they're trying to predict an attack before it happens or respond to one that's already in progress. Think of it like this. A company's systems can spit out millions, even billions of log entries every single day. That's just a huge wall of digital noise. Threat intelligence is the art and the science of sifting through all of that noise to find that one clear signal, that one piece of actionable meaning that lets you make a smarter, faster security decision. And this right here is the crucial difference. CTI gives you the context that raw data just can't. It helps us get past simply knowing that something bad happened and helps us understand who is behind it, why they might be targeting you, how they actually operate, and, this is the real game changer, what they're likely to do next. It's about being proactive, not just reactive. So here's a fundamental truth in modern cybersecurity. No single organization, I don't care how big or well-funded they are, can see the whole picture by themselves. And the reason for that is pretty simple. The bad guys collaborate. They share tools, they share tactics. So if the defenders want any hope of keeping up, well, they have to do the exact same thing. And this really requires a huge shift in our mindset. We have to forget about that old myth of the lone security expert in a dark room fighting off hackers. It's just not reality anymore. Today, security is a team sport, plain and simple. The logic is just too powerful to ignore. One organization's detection can immediately become another's prevention. So, what happens when organizations actually start sharing this threat data? You get this incredible network effect. An attack that's spotted in one company can be instantly blocked by everyone else in the network. That leads to faster detection for everybody, it drastically reduces response times, it improves preparedness, and ultimately, it creates this collective defense that is just so much stronger than any one company could ever build on its own. Okay, so let's get to the central conflict here. If sharing intelligence is so obviously powerful, if it's the key to a stronger defense for everyone, why isn't it happening perfectly everywhere all the time? What's the catch? This really is the central puzzle of threat intelligence. We know that sharing works, we know it makes everyone safer, so why is it still so incredibly difficult to get it right? And the answer is pretty fascinating, because the biggest hurdles, they're not technical. They're human. We're talking about deep-seated trust issues between competing organizations. We're talking about legitimate fears over sharing sensitive company data. There are complex legal and regulatory hoops to jump through. And there's even the very practical problem of just being flooded with way too much low-quality information. So how do we get past all that and actually create high-quality intelligence that's worth sharing? Well, it's not magic. It's a disciplined, repeatable process. This process is how you turn chaos into clarity. It all starts with gathering raw data from countless sources. Then, and this is maybe the most crucial step, you filter out all the noise. From there, analysts start looking for patterns to understand an attacker's methods. Then they enrich that information with context, the who, what, and why behind it all. And finally, everything has to be validated for accuracy before it's ever used to make a critical decision. And the real key here is that a mature threat intelligence program is never done. It's not a one-and-done project. It's a continuous life cycle of improvement. You define your goals, you use the intelligence you've created, and then you evaluate the results to get even smarter the next time around. It's a constant loop. Now, a really common mistake people make is thinking that all threat intelligence is the same. It's absolutely not. Effective CTI has to be tailored to its audience because a CEO and a network engineer need very, very different kinds of information to do their jobs well. We usually break this down into 4 main levels. So way up at the top, you have strategic intelligence. This is for the boardroom. Think long-term trends, big picture risks. Next down is tactical intelligence. This is for the security teams on the ground, detailing the specific tools and techniques attackers are using. Then there's operational intelligence, which is for incident responders who are right in the heat of battle, what's happening right now and who's behind it. And finally, you have technical intelligence, which is really for the machines, the raw data like malicious IP addresses that your firewall can use to automatically block threats. So, knowing all the challenges and knowing the different types of intelligence, how do we actually build a sharing ecosystem that works? Well, it really all boils down to 4 foundational principles. First, you absolutely have to have trust. Without it, nobody shares anything meaningful. It's a non-starter. Second, you need standardization so that everyone is speaking the same technical language and data can be easily exchanged. Third is timeliness. Intelligence about an attack that happened last week is pretty much ancient history in this world. And finally, it has to be actionable. If you can't actually do anything with the information, it's not really intelligence, it's just trivia. And that really is the ultimate point of all this. The goal isn't to create fancy reports that just collect dust on a shelf somewhere. The goal is to turn knowledge into action, to enable better, faster, and more informed decisions that actually keep organizations safe. Because at the end of the day, we just have to accept this new reality. The battlefield is digital now. And on this battlefield, the single most powerful weapon we have is knowledge. In our next chapter, we're going to go even deeper. We'll explore specific attack scenarios and the threat actors behind them, from lone hackers all the way up to nation states. Thanks for joining me for this one. I'll see you there.